Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Better Hit The Mat. I said I got it right last week, and I didn't because I left the better off the front. For those of you who are new, or this is the first episode you watch, the BTTR is Boz. I am Boz. That over there is Tom. Say hi, Tom.
Hey, hey.
That down there is Ryan. He's not going to say anything.
Hi.
Hey.
And there's Travis. I did it in the wrong order, but you know, you get it.
That's why you fucking caught me off guard, man, because I'm like, BTRT?
What?
Fuck it.
We're BTTR?
Trouble is, I always go clockwise on my screen. That's clockwise, even though the hands are backwards. And technology, right? So, thank you for the landslide of kind words reviews from last week's show. It was really fun, and thankfully, you guys seem to agree with us. Kristen was an awesome guest, and we had such a laugh. And yeah, had a bit of fun with those outtakes there. No more kissing this week, you two.
What?
What? That sting we're going to use forever. Yeah, it was an absolute blast. And I think in the lines of feedback, we've had some nice feedback. We're going to read some this week. So
we got to cheers first, boys.
Oh, we didn't cheers.
Yeah, let's bring it in.
How dare I?
We got to bring it in.
There you go.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
All right.
It looks like rum and coke, but actually it's rum and coke.
Rum. Just rum.
Just rum. Gonna be a good podcast.
He's on a diet. He cut the coke out.
That's right. Got
zero.
Cut out all those unnecessary sugars.
Yeah, don't need it.
All right, yeah. So we'll go ahead and read a little bit of this. Hopefully, I didn't clear this with any of them before we can read it, but let's go with it, huh?
Hey,
all right,
let's call the lawyer and get the royalty checks already.
Yeah, that's right. Teresa Butler, her review was probably, it's the one that stuck out to me the most. So she said, this was my favorite of your podcast so far. I'm still laughing about the toilet discussion. I loved learning more of Kristen's story. There's also quite a bit I could relate to during this podcast. Both Kristen and Ryan talked about losing a lot of weight, but still seeing a fat person in the mirror. That is so me. I lost 130 pounds 11 years ago and have kept it off. Humble brag. Nice. Great job. But I struggle with feeling fat. I also understand completely what Ryan is saying about not being able to eat just one cupcake. Told you, Travis. That's me. A lot of people just don't understand that just a little bit of a cheat can lead to a food binge. That might be a great topic for you all to explore more in a future podcast. Hint, hint. Lastly, Kristen's story. Lastly, Kristen's story has inspired me to register with 23andMe. I know my dad had 4 children before he met my mom, and I was born. But I was raised as an only child and never met them. Who knows? Maybe they're registered too. All in all, a podcast that was funny, serious, and inspiring all at the same time. Well done. And that right there, it's like, that's about as good as it gets. That's kind of the intention we went in. We went in with that intention with Kristen, and at least we checked off all the boxes for her. Travis has another review to read. Yeah, Stacy Podorsky. I hope I don't tear your name off. Podorsky, yeah. She said, I loved it like the others, and I enjoyed the nom with Dr. Tom and the perspective on diets, and how there was even a little back and forth between Travis and Ryan about eating the cupcake. Personally, I'm with Travis. There you go, Ryan. It's okay to be wrong.
One for you, one for me. Personally, I'm with Travis. I eat the cupcake, but I know everyone is different, and I love that y'all can discuss it like that. I love that as well. I enjoy hearing about Kristen, how she did the Diamond Cutter 2.0 workout recording. That was so cool to hear about. Also enjoyed the mention of the hee-haws, hashtag I love hee-haws. I do not listen to podcasts. I've listened to only a handful, but BTTR Hit The Mat is a must watch / listen for me. It's hard to wait 2 weeks, but it's worth the wait. Pure gold. Thank you, Stacy. That's awesome. Wow. That's awesome.
And thank you for watching, because I put a lot of effort into how it looks.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the audio is
listening is fun, but like honestly, the watching aspect, it's always great. So that and I think there's a lot of chemistry that comes up on screen that maybe doesn't come over on the audio a little bit, so
yeah, and there's quite a lot of sign language goes on,
a whole lot of head shaking, and Tom just staring.
Staring blankly.
Because he can't hear anything.
Staring and smiling.
Trying to read lips.
That was
And we got
hilarious.
one more review.
He interrupts and he goes, I didn't hear any of that. I'm like, dude, we're not live. You can literally just wave at me. I'll put in an edit point.
You guys were having way too much fun. Guys,
Got one more review here.
Got one more review. And it says, best one yet, if I don't say so myself, written by Kristen Nava.
Completely unbiased. I see that 100%.
I also have one more.
Yeah. Okay.
There's actually one more. Travis sucks. It's from Tom.
Oh, we're gonna get it right.
I saw you going to try to do something.
That would have been amazing.
2-1 siding with Ryan. Yeah.
I tried so hard.
Winner.
We would never be able to get that back if you spit all over the place. That'd be great. I love you. Cheers.
Look, he's had enough tech problems. The last thing we need is a cup of water over everything. Electrical short out.
Oh, right on time.
But it's funny. I think it was Stacey mentioned the having to wait 2 weeks. We do have something in mind for that, don't we, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we kind of hinted about last week. We ourselves, like we get done filming one of these and releasing one of these, and the first thing we want to do is to get back and release something else. So we had talked last week about trying to figure out some kind of a way to offer midweek or off-week content. And we were kind of shooting it around in a private message between all of us, and we have settled on we're going to start calling something the BHTM, so that's Better Hit the Mat Active Recovery. And they're just going to be, quick hit content. It could be anything from a short interview with somebody in the community. It could be a physical challenge between any of the four of us or one of our past guests. We want it to be stupid. We want it to be fun. Maybe we want it to be insightful. Who knows? It could be motivating. But in the end, we just want to be able to connect with you. And we're trying to figure out the best way to make that happen, where we can turn these over relatively quickly. And any of the four of us can reach out and do it. So if Boz happens to meet up with somebody in the UK who's in the program or is a listener, they can maybe knock something out together or anything like that. So where there's always an availability for us to produce content and reach out to you. And we've already started compiling a list. I don't know. What do you got on there, Travis? We got like probably 10 or 15 names already.
Oh, yeah. Quite a few names. Not going to call them out quite yet. We'll start reaching out to some people, but there's quite a few names, especially between the four of us. We have plenty of people to reach out to. For sure.
I'm calling out one, and it's Will Garland. We're coming for you, sucker.
Yeah, we've got to make sure the UK represents here.
Absolutely.
I think we're officially the second largest territory for instructors now. I think we overtook Canada, unless I'm very much mistaken.
Who's Canada got?
Well, there's like, 6, 7? I don't know.
Joking,
I don't know the numbers.
Some of the bigger ones. You got Aaron, you got Sarah, you got Marcel.
Yeah. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like total numbers. There's probably a few I don't know about. But to my count, my own count, I think we're up to 12 in the UK now. Yeah,
but if you did the Europe versus North America, still number one, baby.
Yeah, but like. For a place where, like, I mentioned professional wrestling to people, some people don't even know what that is, let alone know who Dime Dallas Page is. I think he's a bit more of a household name over there. So
you guys actually, you have a ton of instructors, and hell, I mean, I think that entire group that came over to the summit are all certified now. I mean, damn near, if not close.
There was, nine of us total from the UK, and I think 7 were instructors, or 6.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And now there's more.
And a few of you are reaching, L2 status and everything else. Like it's blowing up over there for sure.
Yeah, we just need to get the traction nationally so people know what it is. That's always been the struggle. Is getting it out there without the celebrity tie-in sort of thing as a fitness system on its own. So we're making that push now. So. Watch this space. Hope it's going to blow up. I don't think this podcast is going to be instrumental in that, but that's the dream.
Oh, I disagree. We
might be the catalyst.
We're killing this 5 subscribers at a time, man.
Yeah, I think well, I checked in on the YouTubes this week. We still haven't got a thumbs down. So like on 3 episodes.
Oh
so like,
man, we're working hard for that too.
yeah, I
hard.
slagged off AC/DC.
You
Do I
must be
start
trimming
picking
too
on
much out.
wrestling
Boss.
next?
You must be trimming too much out.
We're not controversial enough. That's what it is. We got some hotter takes.
Yeah.
So I thought
wrestling
for sure
sucks.
How have we not gotten a thumbs down with Tom totally taking a shit on the Game Changers documentary?
That's
How
true.
has that not occurred?
Oh yeah.
Our fans are smart. That's why.
Oh, geez, that's bringing it in. Now there's just a certain subsect that haven't watched it.
Yeah. I'm blown away with how many people during the week have reached out to me. I'm getting instant messages almost every single day of people that I would never even imagine knew that our podcast existed. These people outside of my family, but people in the community that
It's not just Graham.
out. It's not just Graham. No,
It's not just Ryan's mom calling you.
She calls me on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. There's just people from all over that have reached out. People I haven't been in touch with in a while. So God, I love the podcast. It's got me back in. There was I'll call out Larry. I think Ryan. I think you might have talked to Larry this week as well. Larry.
Yeah, I had a 40-minute video chat with Larry.
Yeah, as did I. And so Larry, I met Larry at Summit last year. First time we met, and then we kind of remained a friendship online. He kind of fell off doing DDPY. He called me the other day and said, "Hey guys, I saw the podcast. I love it. Another story. He's back on the mat because of the podcast." So it was like, holy shit, man, this is definitely hitting some traction. And he was one of the most dedicated people at the time when he was doing it. I mean, he had a streak of over 300 some days. So it's good to see him back. And he's got a great story. Maybe we could talk to him at some point too. Good kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
he
good
was
guy.
he was really, really big, and I know he had a lot of stuff happen in his life kind of knock him off of it, but it sounds like he wants to hit it, like, hit the ground running, and he's almost starting from square one because he tried to jump right back in, and let it be a lesson to everybody. If you take some time off, you might not be able to resume right where you started.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
But that's what they mean when they say check your ego at the door,
Sure.
is sometimes you got to know your own limitations. Yeah, you know where you used to be able to be, but that doesn't mean you're there now, and it certainly won't mean you can't get there. And then in fact, you've already proven you've gotten there once. So take your time and get there again.
Well, look, I'm kind of. Some people would say, well, you're sitting here doing this podcast about hitting the mat, DDP yoga, eating right, all that kind of stuff, and then I could sit here and say, well, I'm being hypocritical because I'm actually not in that place myself right now. And I don't feel like a hypocrite because I know sometimes it happens. I'm under like a huge amount of stress from other angles. And add to that, I've got some physical issues which have really knocked me back in my workouts. But the intent is there and the strategy is there. And I will, like, my classes are called Back on Track for a reason, because I'm the living exemplification of falling off track and needing to get back on it. What I would say is, like, I'm not going to allow it to become a cycle. Like a blip will happen, but that consistency has to come back, because the reason that I'm in pain is because I haven't been able to work out as much. So I know the answers, and I know that the diet doesn't get to stay. I don't get to go back to the shitty way I used to eat before all this, because I know I don't want to be there again. So the point is, we said it with the diet thing, you've got to be kind to yourself and you've got to not punish yourself, but at the same time, you've got to kick your own ass. So it's finding that balance. But yeah, it's of all of us here, I do feel like I'm the I'm the straggling child at the moment in the back, like dragging his heels, but I'm going to be back
Not
up
at all.
there.
I've seen that one bit.
And
Yeah, have you watched the Better Hit the Mat podcast? Maybe try and find some inspiration.
Yeah, I'm only having one drink with this show, and then I'm hitting the mat afterwards. So there you go.
Fuck yeah, man.
Every other time I've been a bit too woozy. No,
Excellent.
Not true. So we will be bringing you, like, along the way. That's one of the things that's going to help kick me into gear, actually. You say about doing some challenges between us. I'm up for that. So if you want to challenge me, then I'll get on and do one. But I think that'd be quite a bit of fun that we could probably put out there quite quickly. So
yeah, and if you're interested, like any of the listeners or watchers, if you're interested in jumping in on some of this, shoot us an email and let us know, like, hey, I would love to be included in that stuff, because if you're, and we want you on video, because this, we are going to treat this. It's pretty much going to be a video based thing only. We're not going to release much of the content. Maybe a 5-minute interview might go audio, but if it's a physical challenge, odds are it's going to be video content only. It'll be for social media. And then, most likely a small section on our YouTube channel as well. But we would love if you want to volunteer for some stuff, and it doesn't just have to be one of us and one of you. It could be 5 of us in a room, and we can just take it out there. And there's all kinds of really dumb internet physical challenges to do. The Sally push-up challenge, things like that. Hell, it could be the baby shark thing. We can run this whole section of the baby shark thing.
That's what you want to start with for sure.
Baby
Let's do the first one. Yeah, let's do the first one, baby shark. Yeah.
Can I just say though, as long as the challenge isn't John Burker and how long can we all stay upside down for? Because I'm not quite at that level yet.
Okay, me and Burker will go that one-on-one. Me and Burker.
Yeah, please. Yeah, you can have fun.
Yeah, you have to do the metal version though, right?
Oh yeah,
it's a little longer, right?
Yeah, you've got the standard baby shark is the training version, and then the metal version is for the slightly harder.
Yeah.
And we can tie in. We'll make it kid safe, and we'll tie in all that baby shark SEO, man.
Oh yeah,
all right.
We'll
there you go. That's locked in.
We'll be one of the other 7 billion baby shark videos on YouTube. Anything else you guys want to shoot the shit about, or do you guys want to move on to this next thing?
Yeah, last week I briefly touched on Dr. Marcel Dore's transitioncoach.ca website. I didn't really talk too much about it because I hadn't done the class yet. He had just invited me. So I did my first class, which was awesome. It's Zoom based. We had 5 students come in, had a couple of unsolicited reviews, which were all great. Thumbs up. That was awesome to have. I got coming up again Tuesday and Thursday. So transitioncoach.ca for Dr. Marcel Dore's website there.
Cool. And
Awesome.
Didn't you go on a axe murderer spree around America?
I did. I
tracked the headlines. They weren't as intense as I thought they'd be.
Not as impressive as I thought it was going to be, pal.
Well, I don't know where I overlooked that. Yeah, I had a little road trip. Drove on down from North Carolina. Drove on down to see to Mobile, Alabama. Had a little morning class with Kristen and Joaquin Nava, which was
So jealous.
awesome. I don't know if you've ever heard of those guys, but
What?
Roll Tide.
But no, we had it was awesome meeting Kristen. I swear, these guys are so incredible. But I wish we had more time to hang out. But I had to get on the road and scoot on down I-10 to New Orleans, Louisiana. And I had a chance to meet our good friend Tina. Everybody knows Tina Gaspard. She is so lovely. She fixed me dinner, guys. That was awesome. And then we met the next morning out in a beautiful park and had another little level 1 DDPY class out there. And
you guys pissed off a baby too. There's a baby screaming.
It was a baby screaming. That baby wanted to come and do some DDPY with us. That's what it was.
Oh, that's what it is. Jealousy.
Yeah. But then we eased on down the road to Houston, Texas. And I had the pleasure of meeting Mary Daniels there. And
Mary.
had a few classes there, and that was awesome. So yeah, that was very cool. That just gave me a little bug. So whenever things get clear, our plans are to do a little bit more traveling. Maybe head across the border, go meet Dr. Marcel Dore and the crowd up there.
Well, Aaron's up there, so okay, I wouldn't.
Oh man, Aaron's like so far west though. It's unreal. Yeah,
I'm gonna
he's like
so
forever
fanboy
away.
out whenever I meet him.
How can you not though?
My introduction to Aaron was an interesting one because we'd sort of chatted a little bit, but there was something that happened which I won't go into detail. But we'd lost someone, and I was quite concerned. And I was going around looking. It was at a bar, and I went over, and Aaron looked at me, and he went, "Are you all right?" And he could just see the worry on my face, and I just said, "We've lost someone." And he went, "Right." And his face just turned to stone.
Dad mode.
Or kickboxer mode, I was thinking. But yeah, he just stood up and just came stalking outside of me. And honestly, if something untoward had been going on, and somebody was up to no good, then they'd have been in serious trouble. I was just like, it was like
a mercenary
immediately. Yeah, it was
love
awesome. So, good bonding experience.
Aaron's a solid guy, man. It's a solid guy.
Yeah, I met him at the summit, and I walked in, and they were discussing him and his wife Tamara just went on a run, and they're talking about how many kilometers they ran, and I said, how long is that in freedom units? And he goes, hey, fuck you, guy. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Freedom.
Start of a budding
good
friendship.
people. Yeah. So, and just what an awesome instructor too. He's got some interesting calls. You can get them thumbs by those nipples.
Yeah.
I know you like that one. That's always funny.
That made me joke. I've actually used that since he taught a class for us. So yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best, man.
Well, we all know I've stolen some things from him.
Speaking of one of the best, that pretty much brings us to this week's guest. Kind of like me, he's also lost half of his body weight, but it's literally twice the amount that I've lost. And it seems like every time we talk about weight loss, he never lets me forget that. He's easily one of the most dedicated and just absolute disciplined people in the DDP yoga community. He calls himself the DDPY Savage. He has Native American heritage, and he loves to celebrate that in every aspect of his workout. And honestly, it's the perfect name for him and the way he approaches his life over the last 2.5 years. So let's go ahead and give it up for one of the realest dudes in the entire community. Let's welcome Justin Dobbins.
Hey!
Hey!
Justin.
Metal.
Hey guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Put it back on. It was an improvement,
Cheers.
man.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, put it up there. Cheers.
yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, so Justin, you were backstage, but so you didn't get to hear how I introduced you, but I called you the premier DDPY Savage.
Yeah, I heard it. It was all there.
All right, you did hear it. So Boz.
Yeah, it was
full
all
of
there.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I need you for the record to say Boz is full of shit. No.
Oh, well, I heard it, so
We know that.
No, that's great to know though. Now the more you know. So,
I'm kind of
awesome.
scared of his
All right.
fancy flashlights.
But
We
if
knew
we
that
ever
was
meet,
coming up.
I'm bringing 2 flashlights if we ever get to meet. It'll be so
Awesome.
much fun.
Okay.
For those that don't know,
I
that
feel
is a
kinship.
lightsaber.
Yes.
That's a lightsaber reference.
It is, yeah.
And Boz does training in lightsaber combat, and Justin doesn't think it's going to hurt if he gets hit in the hand. So,
But I already found a kinship with Justin because he's the other guy who, when he does a picture or something, there's a wall of weapons behind him, which is what I have in for here. So it's
Back there.
a thing.
there you go.
Yep.
All right, awesome, man. So let's jump right into it. I mean, I know you're starting to make the rounds on other podcasts. You were recently on Fat Guy Forum. That interview was awesome. It was.
Thank you.
It was real. It was genuine. Knowing that you were going to go on that, I listened to a few others before that, and I think you honestly tore the house down. Granted, I know a little bit more about you than the other people that were featured on there, but you absolutely killed it. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's worth checking out. But I'm sure there's plenty of people that just they know you from posting in the community. They know you as the guy that's lost a lot of weight. But let's start right at square one, man. Like,
Okay.
what was it like? What was your oh shit? I have to make a change. And what sparked it?
I've told the story a bunch, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm getting callous about it or anything, because I mean, I have retold it a bunch, and I didn't for about the first 4 or 5. My wife didn't know for the first 4 months, but December 18th, 2018, I was sitting out in the shop. It was dark. I sat out here in the dark, and I was holding a pistol, and I was trying to figure out the best angle to try to catch the mess in the bucket so my wife and family wouldn't find it, because my joints hurt. I hurt. At that point, I know I was over 700 pounds, and nobody knew it. I mean, at 6'7" and still functioning-ish, but you'd get home at night and sit down, and that's all you could do. I made it through 8 hours, and that's it. But I was sitting out here, and I was out here for about 3 hours. The girls weren't home. And I think that thinking about them growing up without me was about the only thing that stopped me. And, for the first few months when I was trying to get my head wrapped around food and stuff, when I'd start thinking they're having cravings, I'd think about, from the garage door out to the shop, it's 2 steps down. But when it's dark out there and the doors are down, it's black. And so you start thinking, do I really want that, or do I want to go out that dark door again? And now anytime, there for a few months too, anytime I'd start craving something that to me was toxic or bad or whatever, I'd taste gun oil at the back of my mouth. So a lot of mental stuff there and a lot of deep, heavy things. And so I started out literally at rock bottom staring up. And I've talked to a few people that have started there. And I mean, that's when you start at rock bottom, that's motivation. It's either go up or die. I mean, that's where I was.
Well, not to try and spin that positively, but literally at that point, you have nowhere to go but up. And any change you make, as insignificant as it may seem, that's a step in the right direction. Like, that's like goosebump inducing. That's, man. There's not many people that start their journey at, well, I was gonna die by choice. Most people, they are saying, if I didn't change, I'm gonna die. Yeah. But you said, correct, I would make sure I died, and
it's just, it was too much. I mean, it's too much. So, yeah. Okay,
so you decided that night for you, for your family.
Yep.
That it's going to be different. So what was that first thing that you did different?
Well, the wife, she's always been super supportive of, hey, we need to get in shape. We need to try this. And every year we've tried something new. Well, we had some friends that had been doing keto, and she brought it up. She goes, look, I think this will work for us. I think we can make this work. And I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. It won't work. Well, after December 18th, I was like, well, shit, maybe we should look at this. And I got serious about it, and she had no clue that I was looking into this. And I started then, and I started cutting back portions, but I was still, binge drinking on the weekends. I was still, eating crap, but cutting back portions. And so I was feeling a little better after the 1st of January, just that. And then I told her, I said, we're doing this. And she's like, well, I've got a trip to Las Vegas in a week with the company. She goes, can we start after? So our official start date was January 22nd, because a free trip to Vegas, I mean, who wants to be restricted? We can wait another week. But while she was there, I went ahead. And while she was there, I went ahead and started and kind of started getting used to it and prepping some stuff. And when she got home, it was full go.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's really difficult to, even if you've been on a way of eating for a very long time, anytime you travel and go onto a place where, Vegas it's more than gambling and shows. There's phenomenal food, and it's like, you kind of want to indulge a little bit. And it's really easy to overindulge, obviously, as well. So it's cool that you were that right there shows that you obviously had a different mindset. Even if you went there with the intention of starting here, but you started to make those changes right away, that's awesome. So you from what I understand, you lost quite a bit of weight, and then you kind of transitioned into, once you lost some body weight, you started looking into how to get into shape, correct? And that's kind of how you came across DDPY.
Well, we'd bought DDPY like 4 years previously when everybody saw the Arthur video. So my mother-in-law, I told them, I think I could do this. And so she ordered the YRG DVDs, and I started with those, and I did them for about 3 months and felt all right, and then quit. And then they've been pulled out 2 or 3 times, but we lost the weight. And so we just focused that first from like January to September, just straight diet, just straight nutrition, not worrying about everything that life had to throw at you, not trying to add a workout, but food. That's it. That's what we focused on. And it was funny, like after the first month, like my first month was meat, green vegetables, and water, period. Nothing else. That was it. And at the end of that month, I was like, I'm going to celebrate with like a diet cherry limeade. and one sip and I dumped it out, and I was like, I can't do this. So, you know, that was kind of setting the pace. In that first month, I dropped about 50 pounds just off clean eating and getting the crap out. And I know half of that was water, but still 50 pounds, you're like, what can we do next month? So
Yeah,
there are people that set out to do that for the year.
That's my maximum total weight loss on my journey. Just so you know.
we just kept pounding it out. And there's summertime, you know, you get to doing those non-scale victories, like in the yard, instead of taking me 5 hours to weed eat and 2 hours to mow, I was like 45 minutes and I'm done. It's like, well, all right. But no, we just focused on nutrition, got the feeling better and stuff like that. And by September, I lost 170 pounds just eating right. My water consumption is typically a gallon a day, a little more if needs be. But yeah, so that was what we focused on, was just getting our food right.
Right. And you had, you know, I love through all of this so far, you're saying we.
Yeah.
And that right there, like you haven't said I. Like it's and because, and granted, you're kind of, you get the spotlight on you. Yeah, you know, you were the bigger success in your relationship as far as the amount of weight loss, because you had a worse starting point. But your wife, Elise, who you affectionately referred to, or at least for a while there was calling, I don't know if you still always referred to her as the princess.
Yeah.
But you know, she's obviously been as integral into this change as the diet and the exercise has been. Yeah.
Yeah, she's you know, I feel like I'm kind of the nuclear drive motor that gets us there, but she's the heart and soul. She steers us. I mean, she's, you know, there's times when I'm wanting to post something and I'll have her look at it and she's like, nope, you need, no.
Everybody needs that
down. Yeah. So, no, she's definitely been my tempering. I mean, if it hadn't been for her, this wouldn't have happened. And I mean, to date, she's lost like 88 pounds. I mean, so on averages, we're right there even. So
yeah,
she didn't start out at 700.
What's your, you posted a picture a while back. I mean, hell, it'd probably be 3 months ago, but what's your total combined loss as a couple?
I've lost 375 and she's lost 87. So
okay, so you cleared 450.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've cleared 3 adult males as a couple.
Yeah. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. When was the first time that you, like, okay, so personally I can speak. I got onto an airplane and I went to buckle in. And it was like, oh shit, that was easy. I didn't have to adjust anything. Like, it was like, when was that first, like, wow, everything's different for me at this
we went on vacation. We went on our first family vacation last August. Like, we would never have done that in the past. And by then I'd lost like 158 pounds and was feeling pretty good. Still hadn't started working out, but just was feeling better. We got in the rental van and I pulled the seatbelt and put it on. I mean, I haven't worn a seatbelt in 30 years. I mean, they just don't fit, and I'm not wearing an extender. And you get so big, it's like they're going to jaws the life of me out of this car, whether it's crushed or not. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, but now I was talking to somebody earlier on the phone, and they were talking about having space between their steering wheel now. And I was like, man, I hit a bump the other day and slid across the seat of my truck, so I had to start putting a seatbelt on. So, no, I totally understand.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing how many things you just settle with when you're a certain size. You're just kind of like, okay, that's not, you know, roller coasters, that ain't gonna happen. You ain't getting in a rowboat. You're not doing all these things. Shit, you were just doing backflips off of a boat 2 weeks ago, weren't you?
Yeah. I was gonna say, who was that?
Well, the nieces and nephews, one of our nephews is in North Carolina. He's in the Air Force. And so my wife was messaging him on Snapchat. And we'd done one of those vacations a long time ago when he was younger. And he was doing backflips. So we said, do a backflip. Well, the nieces and nephews are getting up there and they're kind of wobbly. And I'm like, oh, come on. And so I just hop up there. And then the first one was pretty good, but I slapped my leg on the water. The second one, I'm like, I'm not going full tilt again. That hurt. I'm too fat for this. And then my nephew looks at me and goes, you're not fat anymore. I'm like, oh, that's right. So, yeah, it's constant reminder.
That's about, you have to change your inner monologue as well.
Big time.
Yeah,
big time.
I've always punished myself like that because it was a self-defense mechanism. It's like, if I call myself fat, someone else doesn't have to do it, you know? So,
well, you know, specifically jumping off the side of that boat, Justin, one of the things you said you had to do was learn how to relax, right? So how was that feeling getting into that?
That day started out real bad. I mean, that day started out real bad on the boat. It was great. You know, my mind was clear, so it was great. We had a great time. And of course, once we stepped off the boat and got back to reality, crap started coming back, but it's been good. We're learning. And I'll get there eventually. So, yeah. But that day was great. We had a great time.
Awesome.
You went public with it, but recently you started looking into EMDR therapy. For those that don't know, it's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. It's a psychotherapy used to designed to alleviate stress from like post-traumatic stress and things like that. So like did you actually go in and have a talk, or are you just kind of feeling it out right now?
Well, 2 weeks ago I was talking to my doctor, like my main physician, and he kept asking me some questions. And when we were talking, we had talked about a few things that have been bothering me, and apparently there's some markers and stuff for PTSD for rapid weight loss. And then there's some dissociative type disorders where, I'm used to seeing, so first disclaimer right off, anything I spout out that sounds like, oh God, I wouldn't have said that. That's my conversation up here every day. So if it comes off as harsh or nasty or hateful, that's what's up here. I mean, that's real talk, and that's what it's taking. Yeah,
I meant to give almost a trigger warning here. You're pretty much unfiltered, and I was going to say, but you're real.
You've met Ryan, yeah?
So yeah, but anything. So you walk past the mirror for 10 years and you see this fat face. For 15 years, the same fat face. And then I showed my face-to-face Friday here a week or so ago, where here we go, and then it's like March or April, and then boom, August. It's like, or September. It's a totally different person. And so when you kind of look up from the mirror, like wash your face and look up. I mean, there's mornings where you're like, holy who is that? There's people I only see once a year because we do a fireworks business. And I had people, like, I'm sitting at the fireworks stand in a chair, and these people are walking in going, where's the big guy? And I'm sitting right next to him. Mm-hmm. And so there's been a lot of that. So with the mental health stuff, my doctor noticed a few things, and we discussed it, and he said, I'd like you to talk to a therapist here on staff. And there's some markers for PTSD. There's some of that other dissociative stuff, because essentially, apparently with like gastric bypass, what he explained to me is there's a psych eval ahead of time, and they kind of figure out what you're going to need post-care. And then most of the gastric bypass people in 2 years maybe lose 150, 200 pounds, and then they start exercising. Doc said, you've done it all in 20 months. He said in 40 years he hasn't seen this, and it's not done. Because before I started, I needed my left knee replaced, my right knee needed work, and they needed to work on my back, and my shoulder was trashed, and now I don't need any of that.
You're going to have to get into that cage match.
Okay. Along with that, Justin, how about the medications as well?
Oh, well, I started out with sleep apnea, allergies. I've had asthma since I was 2 and medicated since I was 2. 9 different medications, and now we're down to hydrochlorothiazide, which is just a water pill. My left leg swells real bad from a previous infection, and at 6'7", doc says it's just too much to try to get all the fluid out naturally. So the hydrochlorothiazide is like 5 milligrams a day, and it's just to keep my left leg from swelling.
And that's from 9 scripts to 2?
Yeah, and the CPAP machine's gone, the nebulizer's gone, the cortical the chest steroids, it's all gone.
That's amazing.
He did put me on a couple of milligrams of statin this last visit because my cholesterol was going up just a touch, but he's thinking it might be stress induced. So we're going to give the therapy 6 months, retest, and then he said we'll probably take you off of it. So
I love that you're approaching this from all aspects. You've got your nutrition on lock. You've got the physical aspect, with your routine. You're now tackling the mental aspect, and you're still. Right now you. I think you recently met with or going to meet with, even talking about getting skin removal surgery. Like, you haven't let anything scare you away from making a change. so many people use those as excuses. As to why not to change. Well, it's just easier just to do this. And you're working your ass off and still creating other things that you have to work towards and just tackling it fucking head on, man. Like it's impressive.
The first surgeon we talked to said I've got about 22 pounds of loose skin on, and that's just estimating. So, of course, I'm going to just keep working and seeing how much more it can go, because I've seen the shorter guys that have lost a lot of weight, and I don't have near as much loose skin as that, because 6'7", it was more proportioned. I've still got more than my share, but a lot more than I want. But we'll just keep moving and see how much further it goes down.
You posted your first topless photo in the community page. I know you were a bit nervous about it, but I know you did it. You did it to help other people. What was the response to that?
3,000 reactions. I mean,
oh, that's not much. That's not much at all.
It was kind of crazy. My biggest question was, what do you do about the loose skin? You know, what's your concerns about that? And it's like, you know what? I can bend over and clip my toenails and not fall out of breath. So a little bit of loose skin is doable. I mean, it floors me that is a stopping factor. You know, I'd rather die at 45 of a heart attack than deal with, you know, floppy tits. I mean, come on, guys. It is what it is. I mean, you know, and I hear all this stuff. I'm sorry. I mean, it is. I hear all the complaints.
Just got a clip there.
Yeah. I mean, people are complaining and stuff. I'm like, try going into down dog and having, you know, it's just like, awesome. No more shirtless yoga. We're going to wear a shirt during yoga from DDP from now on. So,
yeah, I mean, we're seeing even Scott King, he started running. I mean, he's lost a ton of weight too. I think he's in the 300s lost. And he has to like wear full compression wrap up, and he's gotten like a full sleeve now that he's wearing to prevent, because now he's I think he's training maybe for a sprint marathon or something like that.
Yeah.
But he hasn't let it stop him either. And in fact, he's adapting and he's overcoming. That's what you do.
Yep. If you see me running, you better take off, because there's something nasty coming behind me. I don't run.
Should we follow you? Exactly.
I'm with you, bro.
You better get ahead of me.
It's on, whatever it is.
Between dealing in a shop full of explosives and selling explosives during the summer, if you're running, something's probably fucking blowing up. No, that's awesome. Okay, so I mean, obviously you've had all these huge milestones, like enough milestones that give it some time. If they already haven't, somebody's going to want to write a book about you or something along those lines, because you have that kind of story. But
I've already started it.
Okay, well, there you go. So, but
I write my own post. I'll try my own book. I will see.
Yeah, I don't want you to.
No,
I don't want you to spoil anything out of it then. But what? Somebody, we've talked, and you have mentioned that you want to help other people where you were in that morbidly obese, that 500-pound, that bedridden stage. What's something that when you had started all of this, like one big mistake you made, or like something where you're like, man, I wish somebody would have been there for, like, what's that one piece of advice you might give somebody that's in that stage right now?
They need to start with their mental health first. They need to get that squared away. I think talking with somebody right off the bat, getting to a therapist and say, look, I want to lose weight. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. I need help. I think, especially for the morbidly obese, because they're already coming from a jacked up place. They're already coming from depression. They're already coming from no self-esteem, no self-confidence, no self-worth. They're already laying there wanting to die. So you can't take that and then all of a sudden miraculously, hey, you've lost all this weight, you should be happy. You know, I get that more often. Why aren't you happy? Why aren't you happy? I am happy. But there's mornings you wake up and you're sitting there laying in bed going, and you still feel like, I still feel like fat, worthless Justin. There's mornings and you go, nope. And you roll over to the side, you hop up because you don't have to crack and pop for 15 minutes. You go hit the mat, you get that 10-minute, 15-minute endorphin rush in the morning, you get to work, and then if you feel like working out later, do it. And if you don't. But get that 10 minutes in and get after it. But But I think somebody starting out from what I like to call the super heavyweight division, they need to get their head straight first and foremost.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way around it.
Now, once you get your head straight, for those that are food addicts, Justin, what do you recommend, or what were some of the changes that you made with your food? Did you go to food prep, or did you just mentally know what you needed to do?
No, we food prep the hell out of everything. Like we cook, you guys have probably seen the post. We'll cook a mountain meat on the weekends, and then we, cook vegetables throughout the week. But it was just, like I said, my first month was green vegetables, meat, and water, and it sucks. I mean, it really sucks. That second week, or that seventh or eighth day where you start to come off the sugar and stuff, and you're laying in the floor convulsing, and you want to throw up and die, and you just kind of move past it. And that first month was bad. But once I got past it, and then what was funny was we did this January 22nd. So February 23rd was the first day of my off the green vegetables and meat. And pecans tasted like candy, just raw pecans. That was it. So that was a treat. I mean, that was my dessert, was raw pecans. But yeah, it's just me getting your food right and getting off that sugar, or getting off that, whatever that addiction is. And, I know there's folks out there that can have that cheat meal, or they can have that cupcake from last week. I can't. I can't do it. It's, it's just like, I'm sorry just from our side, from the super heavyweight edition. Like if an alcoholic was coming up on his 12-year chip, you wouldn't go, "Hey mate, let's have a beer," would you?
Congrats.
Right.
Or if it was a heroin addict on their 2-year coin, you wouldn't go, "Here's a spike, enjoy it. We think you're good now." That's the same way it would be with me with sugar and stuff. It's, yeah, I can have this. Nowadays, I wouldn't do it. I was talking to somebody the other day. The thought of pizza, sounds good. And I get that little bit of saliva. I'm like, that sounds really good. And then I think about chewing that wad of bread and crap. And it turns my stomach, and I'm like, well, that's not a craving anymore. So I think that's where they need to get, is they need to just go, okay, I cannot have this stuff. Because if you can't have it with self-control, and you're going to start over every January, why the hell are you doing it in the first place? Why be miserable for the first 9 months of the year just to screw it up the last 3? Just go ahead and enjoy all year. Get it over with.
Got to be a lifestyle change, can't be a diet.
Exactly. Yep. Yes.
And you nailed it. That first miserable 9 months, and then guess what comes up? You get Halloween, you get Thanksgiving, and you get Christmas. And people indulge like crazy. And everything they did that 9 months just goes right back to where they started. And what do? New year, new me. And it's like, come on, man. You did it for 9 months. Do it the other 3. And guess what? It's new year, still the same you. You're just going to get a little bit better. Right. And you refine it, man. Oh, perfect. I never even thought of it in that 9 month thing. And yeah, that's exactly.
Like I said, I'm not trying to start a fight. That's just for, you asked about food addiction. I mean, that's straight up food addiction. If you cannot moderate, if you've been trying this for 10 years, if you've been doing this for 10 years, and a cheat meal throws you off every time, hey, guess what? Shit doesn't work for you. Stop.
Exactly.
What's something that now, you obviously have probably your food of choices. Our diets are actually remarkably similar. What's something that no matter how good it is for you, you're not touching it?
Pretty much any kind of vegetable.
Yeah.
I mean, I eat them because I have to. I mean, I'm more or less 99% time straight carnivore.
Okay.
I mean, to me, that's what's hitting. Oh, well, I guess you could take it to paleo, because I like to eat I eat a lot of peanuts and pecans and stuff like that. So the only thing I haven't added to the paleo diet is sticks and grass. I've got the meat and nuts down, so add the sticks and grass, we'll be okay.
I love it.
Yeah, so I don't.
Guys, this is the perfect example of what we talked about last week with finding what works best for you. I mean, that's the fucking the crazy example of all time, right there.
The crazy part is
thinking exactly what works best for you. I love it.
Yes, sir. And this last time, Doc, thinking maybe some hormone issues or something, so they took these 5 giant vials of blood. And I'm like, you might as well have just done a donation bag and got it all in one whack. And they ran every test they could under the sun, and he said everything is perfect, as far as levels, except for 20 points high on cholesterol. And like I said, he's wanting to see if stress doesn't, alleviate some of that.
Well, that's what it's all about.
So,
Yeah, it's
Cheers to
incredible.
that.
You've also got to know if your dog's old school on cholesterol as well. There's some new thinking out there, and they're not all on board with that yet. So
Absolutely.
that's a big discussion for another day, probably. But, yeah, I think
That'll get us a thumbs down or two.
yeah. Triglycerides, people, look at them. Anyway, so
Okay,
when did this? Sorry, I'm going to take over.
You go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, for the love of God, do.
I think we talked about the start and the massive weight loss initially. So can you talk about when you started to really hit the workouts, transitioned into that side of it, and how what was the difference in how you felt and it spurring you further forward?
Hold on one second.
It's that biker again. Get him!
All right. So now, let's see. So
You should just do it there. You should just.
okay, yeah. All right. Next time. All right. So yeah. But they, it was last year, and it was getting close to my birthday, September 17th. So it was last year around this time. I told my wife last summer, I'm like, I really want to start working out. And so I looked into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I have a buddy who does that. And then another friend of mine does CrossFit. And I thought about CrossFitting, and I thought, those guys are always hurt. And whatever works, that's awesome. But I've thought about those discs, and I told my wife, I said, let's try this again. So original YRG discs. Of course, I'm not doing the Diamond Dozen. That's stupid. We've done that before. Popped it in, started energy on September 16th. That's September 17th.
Brian's pickle.
Well, September 17th is my birthday, and I didn't want to be the cliche of saying I started on my birthday to take my life back, so I went on the 16th. First time I did energy, I laid in the floor and cried. Because when I got down and my knees hit like the hardwood floors on the mat, like it was pain. I couldn't bump into down dog, like getting into table sucked. And my gut, like on all fours, my gut is on the floor. And so I'm wallowing through it. And, by October 7th, I was so happy. Like I saw a couple of guys, calling each other out. They're, okay, well, we're going to do, Cobra to down dog without going to table. And I thought, I'm going to work on that. So within 3 weeks, I had that. I could go straight from Cobra to down dog. And then I added a plank and called them out. And I was feeling pretty good. So, it's been just those little things, and it, kicking ass with just YRG. And then, so we started out crying on the floor in September. And then I think it was mid-November. We were ripping out Diamond Cutter, Zumba Princess and I. And she started out like I did DDP yoga, and she started out doing Zumba. And then she started getting on the mat with me at night sometimes. And then she's like, I kind of like that. And then she's like, will you wait on me? And so, switching it over to DDPY Princess probably doesn't work. It's not the same. So, there's.
You got to stick with your origin story.
Yeah, no. So it's Zumba Princess or ZP now.
You'd be taking Travis's nickname at that point, and that's not fair. Sorry. I love you.
I love you too, buddy. I love you too.
Okay, well, yeah, actually, now that we've established when you started hitting DDPY, I want to know when did the mothership get aware of you? When did they reach out and say, "Whoa, dude, what the fuck"?
Well, I didn't start posting anything. Like I just started working out. We were losing weight. We're killing it. And I was kind of keeping my normal Facebook family updated. Like, hey, I've lost 100 pounds. They had no clue where I started out. They were just cheering me on. And then my wife said, you really need to start posting. You really need to start doing something more because, and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. And she, hey, guess who just walked in?
Look at the devil. The princess.
Hey.
Hi.
There she is. This was our plan all along, is to lure you in through Justin. We actually didn't even want to feature Justin, so it's great to finally have you here.
Okay, well, exactly. Talk to you guys. We'll see you later.
Get rid of them.
That's pretty normal. I get that a lot.
Elise, can you tell us why DDPY?
No, actually, what can you tell us? What's with that T-shirt? Sorry, no.
Actually,
It's a great shirt.
I get it all the time.
Hey, but he hooked us up though. He customized them too. Check out the back. Show them back.
I don't know that I can with.
I just wanted to show off the back side. That's all.
Oh, nice.
There
That
you go.
happens a lot too.
Well, Ryan customized mine too because it's got it on the sleeve.
Right.
Nice.
All right.
So I want to let you know, I'll spoil it for you. I'm sure, hopefully you'll watch it on the playback, but this entire story, he's talked about his journey. He has used the word we. He hasn't said I once. It's been incredible.
He likes
you
me.
are, he does. He genuinely does. And, here we went in thinking he might like maybe 3 people in this world. And we've confirmed one of them is definitely you.
It's true.
No, he's just been showering you with praise. It's you got him well trained.
I do.
Kill
I
him.
really do.
20 years in, you'd think you'd have me trained.
Yeah.
Okay, so now since you're still affectionately known as Zumba Princess, but now you're starting to do a lot of DDPY. Which one do you like better?
I think I like DP just because it has been what he's called me the whole time.
No.
exercise
Which do you like
routine?
better, Zumba or DDPY?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I love to dance. So dancing is such a fantastic way for me to get energized and excited about, exercise. But I also love DDPY. Like there's just something about it that totally relaxes you and also, makes you stronger. So I love them both.
All right.
Well, maybe after Dallas is done launching DDPY Jack, to launch DDPY Disco or something, and we can.
That would be amazing.
Travis already started that. So then
Take it to road class.
I know. That's why I wanted to join your page so I could watch you dance.
Justin keeps sending over that good music. We lead in with that badass song you sent in, so that's a little dance
It's a
break
good
for
one.
us. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so he had mentioned you're well over 80 pounds yourself.
Yes, I am.
That's awesome. And how much where are you gonna keep going, or are you just trying to
I'm definitely
maintenance
not.
now?
No, I'm definitely not where I want to be at. I kind of at the very beginning thought I would make my goal before he did his because he had so much more to go. Turns out that's not the case. I feel like I will be 3 years down the line probably. Hey, I finally made it. But whatever.
Okay, and I don't want to put you on the spot too much here, but how is he different now from where he was? Like, what's the one thing that you've noticed that you're just like, everything's different?
Yeah, if you want to
Other
make him
than
leave
size.
first, we understand.
I would say I feel like, so much is different as far as how he interacts with others. I don't know. Everything's different. It no longer is like if I say I'm going to go do something. Like usually that meant I was going by myself because he didn't want to go, and now he's like, "Well, hold on, let me get my shoes." He's ready to go, which is so fun to do life together outside of the house again. Cool. Yeah.
You find obviously when you're in a lot of pain, I sort of empathize a little bit. The expression "a bear with a sore head" is. I should just have that tattooed on my forehead. Because when I'm in a lot of pain, I know it's tough on Lavinia because I am just so miserable and grumpy. Obviously, did it affect you that way, or did you sort of internalize it? Because I know a lot of people do that as well.
Oh, I was very grumpy, very moody.
Yeah.
Very hateful. Yes. No, absolutely.
Yeah, I sort of take it out on the rest of the world.
I'll agree.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's cool. Like you regained your health, and you probably got a stronger marriage from it.
Definitely.
It's just, who would have thought, huh?
Well, one of the things that I heard you say, Justin, is so cool, and it stuck out to me is this is your time to become super dad. That's what you said.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Oh, I like that.
He's definitely working really hard all the time to better his relationship with his girls. He and I have always had a pretty strong foundation. So even December 2018, I had no idea that it was that bad for him. Because because we were really pretty solid. I mean, even though he might have spent a lot of time in bed, like I'd get home and I'd ask the girls, "How's Dad today?" And they're like, "Well, he's been in bed since we've been home," kind of stuff. We still communicated, and I don't know. It was never. I never realized it was as bad as it was. And
Right.
now the girls, he doesn't spend as much time inside. He's usually outside, doing stuff until it's time to go to bed, and then he comes inside.
Backflips off boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you have ever thought, like, when this all started, would you have ever thought you would have lost your husband to hard work? Like,
No.
Like, now he's like not available because he's busy busting his ass.
Yeah, totally, all the time.
Yeah.
And like I'll mention, something that would be fun to do, and he's like, okay, and then he just does it instead of like putting it on some kind of to-do list that never gets done. Like he just does it.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
It is. I'm pretty proud of him.
We all are, honestly. He's a legit asset in the community. So it's
really is.
it's incredible. Like when we started this show, we built a list, and we had a list. We there's a reason that we were targeting everybody we have to have on, and
Me.
there was no doubt that Justin was at the top of it for a reason. So
Most definitely.
I agree. I like to share him in that way.
Thank you, guys.
yeah,
It's awesome to see all the people that comment that say, like, you're the reason I worked out today, or it's because of you that I knew I could do this. Like,
Yeah.
what a powerful thing to be able to be that
Absolutely.
for somebody.
yeah.
Justin, I want to tell you, so we never spoken ever before, and I've been following your story. I had a patient that does not follow DDPY, that knows I'm in a DDPY, came into my office, shows me their phone, says, "Do you know Justin?" And I was like, holy fucking shit. This person has nothing to do with our community. So we were just talking about how important you are to the community. You're important to the world, my man. And that was
Absolutely.
her thing. She's
That's
like, can you start
awesome.
doing classes with me? And I was like, oh my God, like, I can't wait to tell them
That's
stories. I've been
awesome.
hanging on to that. That's why I personally haven't been talking. I wanted to hang on so we could say this face to face.
He
I
normally
thought
only
you just kind of
interrupts.
did, but that explains a lot. Thank you.
Don't let him.
He's like, what do you say,
I
huh?
was holding on for
I
months.
said you're a nice guy, Tom. You're a nice guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
He normally interrupts to say something from 5-year-old Tom. That's what I thought was coming.
Yeah.
So what does a welder smell like? Is that what you're going to ask? Because it smells like. I can tell you that now.
He might have just stole my joke. Ask you what a welder's helmet smells like. I was going to ask.
Oh boy, that you.
Sweat.
Good Lord, no, all sorts of hell.
Okay. Well, I hate to run, but I have children that need my assistance.
Thank you so much for sharing.
to meet you.
It's awesome.
Good to meet all of you guys. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Cheers.
All right, that is my much better half.
We call that out kicking the coverage, my dude. I think all
Gotcha.
of us have.
Look at that.
Nice.
I think all of us share that.
Yeah. 100%.
Now we're getting into those shirts that touch me in the spots I don't like. So
Yeah, I gave you a hard time about that, and I know that you fired back at me with that, but like you went to that 3X, and I told you could go to a 2X, and I totally get it, but I honestly think that you need to start sprouting it out that you wear a 2X. I don't care, even if you don't personally wear a 2X, you fit a 2X.
well, I'm telling you what,
Celebrate that shit, man.
I don't know, these biceps are getting there to the point where I'm about ready to challenge Jared Leland to a sexy arms contest on the DDP yoga page.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look at that.
I mean,
I got the soundtrack for you.
and hey, I don't lift weights. That is just working out and then busting my ass outside.
That's incredible, man.
Nice.
That's good muscle tone.
So well, I might have to do side by side with Thomas here and after a while. What is that pose? Is it? Do I gotta?
I'll tell you exactly how to do it.
No, you gotta. It's lighting. It's a spray tan, and a lot
Spray
of
tan.
water. You got tons of water pills. No hydration. Correct. Like it was a lot of.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
No,
Bacon, grin, and dead eyes. That's what you need.
Grimace. Yeah.
But the amazing part is like being able to do this stuff with DDPY and nothing else. I mean,
Yeah, man.
you know, I don't ever see a reason to do anything else.
Exactly. Like
Justin, did you ever do any other workouts before DDPY?
Back when my oldest was about 12, I started going to the Y a bunch and lifting weights with my boss's son. He was out of the Marine Corps. And
Gotcha.
I'd worked out playing football in
Your football
school.
player. Okay, cool.
No, not very long, like 8th, 9th grade. And then I lifted weights in high school. But when I was working out at the Y, I got to where I could bench about 450 and was working out and was built pretty beefy, just big. I mean, I can build muscle quick. That's been something I can do. But I go to the gym and I can build strength fast. And you know, leg press was every 45-pound plate in the gym on the machine and 3 guys sitting on it. So we don't know what it was.
Yeah, I'm sure it's well over 1,000 usually. Wow.
So I worked out. It was swam. I'd swim a mile. But the thing was, I wasn't eating right. So I couldn't imagine what would have happened if I'd been eating right back then. But I just wasn't lifting right. And I was working out, trying to get big and taking all the pre-workouts and all the creatine and all the protein shakes. And the swimming was great. You know, I could swim 3 miles, but I was still kind of fat, so I floated. Swimming now really sucks. I'm like, I need a life jacket because I sink to the bottom of the pool. Like there's no floating at all.
Did you figure out how to float yet?
Nope.
No, I
Cannot
don't float.
Yeah.
I don't float at all. I've never have. And my bone, I've basically got an adamantium skeleton.
You have to fill your lungs. You have to fill your lungs.
If I fill my lungs,
Zumba Princess was holding me up at the lake. No floating.
It's a thing called negative buoyancy. Some people physically have that. David Goggins, who is in the shape of anybody's, you would imagine he's in the greatest shape, you know, you would imagine a human being. He's negative buoyant. That man cannot float. Like some people just physically have that, you know, attribute. It's crazy.
Yeah.
She floats and my legs just do this. And then if I breathe out, I sink.
We've been recording for an hour and a half, and David Goggins has ran 98 miles in that time. That's
true.
That dude's nuts.
Hey, Justin.
And he's cursed 194 times.
Oh yeah, my kind of guy.
Hey, Justin. As Ryan led you in, your native background there. What tribe are you a member of? And you also mentioned. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And you also mentioned that you were looking to take DDPY to the community, right?
Yes, sir. I'm a member of the Muskogee Creek tribe, northeastern Oklahoma. I'm a quarter, and Grandma was full blood. And I've been using the Northeastern Tribal Healthcare System in Oklahoma, and it's, of course, it's free for Native Americans. And in the past, there was always a negative stigma for it, and it's gone above and beyond. You know, before I started this, I talked to 3 or 4 different doctors and told them what I wanted to do. I said, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And I had one of them laugh, said, you're not going to do it. I had one of them wanted to give me pills and said he'd take the weight off me quicker that way. I had one that acted like half-ass interested. And then I just called the tribal healthcare just on a whim, and the doc I went and saw there with him, and he was on board. He said, let's do this. He said, what do you want to do? And I told him, and he said, okay.
Amazing.
So, I mean, he's been on board. He's tracked my progress. You know, every 3 months I go in for blood work. So it's been amazing. I'd love to book an appointment with those other 3 yahoos and go back and see them, but
That's why second and third opinions are so important.
They wouldn't even recognize you.
no.
Yeah.
They'd have no idea who you are.
Yep.
So I know you talked about finally posting into the community and everything else. Dallas has reached out to you. I know you guys talk over the phone.
Somebody, yes. You said the
you
mothership.
haven't met Dallas in person, right?
No, sir. They noticed me, and they noticed me last December for the first time. I got a message from Pat McDermott and Sean Newton.
Okay.
They reached out and they were asking me all these personal questions, like what's your phone number and your email, and you know, how long have you been with the program, and this, that, and the other, and then the last thing Steve told me was, if you get a number or a call from a weird number, answer it. And it was like a night or two later, Dallas called and said, and if you guys have had the call, hey bro, and it was awesome. Yeah. You're killing it, and I'd like you to take it up to the next level and start working out on the app. And so we got the app and started working out on that, and that was a game changer. I mean, that was that was a night and day difference between YRG and the app.
Yeah, it was for
and
me.
Absolutely.
And that's when we kicked it up a notch and just started getting after it.
Yeah, I think when I was doing DVD workouts, I was maybe on the mat 35, 40 minutes a day, 5 days a week kind of thing. But then once I got the app and saw all these live workouts and as great as Dallas is, it's nice to have a different voice. It's nice to get a slightly different flow. It's all that stuff is huge, and just different variety and app workouts. Then all of a sudden it was 90 minutes a day, 7 days a week, because there was always something different. And it wasn't just, it used to be, if you needed a quick workout, it was red hot core or energy, skipping all the intro, otherwise there's nothing else. So it's nice to have that availability. I mean, so I think some of those 25 to 30 minute workouts are some of the most important workouts on the app, because there are just some days where you don't have the time, even if you've tried to make the time, but you can spare that. You can sacrifice whatever it is you were going to do for 20 minutes. And that's what that app opens a lot of doors. So you were going to go to this year's summit pre-COVID and everything being canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we're allowed to talk about it, I had the invite.
We are.
So yeah, I'd been invited about it. I'd been invited to it, and we were looking, and when you first get that invite, it's like a month or two ahead of time. And it's like, man, there's no way we're going to make this. There's no way we can't swing this. I'm self-employed, and it's just one of those deals where we weren't going to go. And then I said over the weekend, and that Monday, I'm like, the hell with this, we're going. And so we started, getting stuff together and getting it going. And somebody from my past stepped up to pay for our motel room at one of the fancy hotels there in downtown Atlanta. So it's just, there was a lot of blessings that came our way, and it was going to be awesome to be down there. Cause he wanted to work out with me, and it was going to be an awesome time, but it didn't happen, and that's okay. Cause we just kept trucking through, all the crap that's happened. And
we'll all get down there eventually. I know you were one of the people I was really looking forward to hanging with, and Tom and I were
meeting in person
throwing. So
there you go.
It's just, but okay. So you didn't get that opportunity then, but say here in a few months, you get that opportunity. What's the first thing you're going to say to Dallas?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to wait and see what he has to say first, I guess.
There you go.
Probably you're quite short, aren't you?
I'm 6'7", so no.
That's what I want you to do.
You're one of the few people who look down on him.
You have to make a height joke. Be like, you need to be like, hey, those guys on the Hit the Mat podcast were right. You are a lot smaller in person. You know what he's gonna do? I can almost guarantee what he's gonna do. He's gonna walk up, he's gonna give you a hug, and he's gonna take a step back, and he's gonna take another step back, and he's gonna go, holy shit. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
His eyes are gonna be this big. They're gonna be huge, and he's gonna be so engaged. That's just 100% true.
And all the people in the world telling you that you've kicked ass, whether it's through a message or in person, when that guy says it, you're just like, all right, I fucking made it. Yeah.
No. The cool part is when my 14-year-old teenage daughter shared my stuff on Instagram. That's when I thought, I've made it. I've made the big times now. Cool. So no, trust me, don't get me wrong. DDP's cool. But when your 14-year-old daughter shares your shit on Instagram, you're like, I'm in.
To be fair, she has more followers than Dallas does. So that's awesome, man. I've got one last thing here to wrap it up. You regularly give people nicknames, at least it feels like you do, reading through all your posts, whether it's Zumba Princess, Ninja Nephew. You called, people may not know it, but you want us all to get into a cage match. So you're bringing along Aaron Johnson. You called him the Canadian Wolverine. Did you refer to yourself as the Missouri Mangler?
I live in Missouri, so yeah.
There you go. And then we got Scott French as your manager. He's Tiger Blood.
Tiger King, yep.
Okay, there you go. Tiger King. Yeah, fresh. There you go. So we're all going into the cage match, and you've got to give the announcer the Better Hit the Mat guys' nicknames. Go ahead. I want you to fire one off for all of us.
Well, you can't put me on the spot like that. It takes a little bit of time to cook this stuff up.
Okay.
So we'll get something. I'll put it on the podcast.
I'm sure you've thought a little bit of maybe Tom. There's probably hundreds of names you probably call.
Oh no, the person that's been that's been like in my head the most is Travis. Like last night or Friday night on his little dance routine when he's up there in the screen, like he looks like a cross between Steve Martin and James Franco. Like look at him close.
Hey, I'll take that. I like those.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. You'll have to do a screenshot, but you'll see
little
it when you
handsome
look at
men.
it.
Why not take that one?
That's
Two wild and handsome men.
Yeah, exactly. Extremely successful.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out and post it, but it takes me a little bit.
That's what I need you to come up with something. We thought for sure you were going to go with Dickhead 1 through 4. And
Nah, it's got to be more personal than that.
Too obvious.
That's awesome, man.
So.
This has been just incredible having you on. I love how real you are with what you're willing to put out there. And this is about as intense of a talk as we're going to come across, honestly, as far as at least a starting point. And honestly, you're not even at your end yet. But as far as if we're going to call this your end point, man, it's a hell of a story thus far. And it's just,
I'm hoping with the therapies and stuff, that's what I'm really hoping to do is to try to make some connections there, because apparently what they do is they'll take a negative, they'll dig down to the root of the problem. And when your mind goes into a negative, they trip the lights and then they try to implant a positive on top of that. So when you start to trigger, it's kind of like Pavlov's dog, ding, time for a treat. So when you go into that stress mode or the anxiety or that panic attack, then you get that positive reinforcement on the other side. So I'm very excited to see how well it works, and I'm going to give it 100% because we need to fix it. I don't doubt that you will. You'll tackle it with everything you got. I mean, I've had. Well, that's what I told the therapist. I was sitting there and she said, I was like, just give me the tools, let me fix it. And she's like, well, it's not that simple. I'm like, it is that simple. I've lost 375 pounds in 19 months. I've repaired my knees. Give me the tools, let me fix it. And then she set me straight. Like we had a talk, and mental health is not as easy as this apparently. So we're going to take it slow and get it figured out. And that's the main thing, is getting it all straight.
Yeah, if only it was a welder attachment, it'd be easier. But yeah,
if it was just a tool, I've got tools all over the place. But no, it's not.
I was like, I love your T-shirt and the design. Can you explain and? You've been shooting those out. You said you needed to promote the hell out of those a lot harder. I'm disappointed. You haven't even talked about it once. Let's go. Okay, fine. I don't like to self-promote stuff, but I'm Native American. I wanted something that really kind of sent a punch. When we were going to go to Summit, this was one of my things. Is instead of doing a GoFundMe and try to raise money, let's give people something badass. I mean, I love T-shirts. Like that is my treat. I've talked about that on my stuff. So I don't go out for a cheap meal. When I drop down a size, man, I go buy T-shirts. I've never had cool T-shirts, so it's my logo. It's kind of the Operation Rebuild. And I had a bunch of people over the summer ask me where to get them. And then of course I've dropped another person since then. So none of mine fit from last time. So it's time for me and I'm getting too cold. So I need to order some more hoodies, but yeah, it's just our logo. On the back, it's got all. You're like, fuck, it's cold. I'm shivering. I never used to do that.
Yeah, that's no shit. Like shorts and sleeveless T-shirts and tennis shoes in the wintertime. But now it's like the other morning it was 63 degrees and I walked out and was like, nope. Went right back in and grabbed a hoodie and I showed up to my haircut and she goes, "Are you a little cold cupcake?" I'm like, "You betcha." I'm freezing.
Yeah.
So,
it's amazing how that all changes too. Like, this last 2 winters at work, man, I've never known how cold it really was. And now it's just like, you go out to snow blow and it's like, holy shit.
Yep. We re-upped and we had them sold. The link is on my Facebook page and stuff. We re-upped the web store and I kind of fell off track in August and didn't promote. So we sold like 8 shirts in August. So I'm going to try to pump it up. And the people who ordered them, I told them on my post this morning, look, I'll throw something extra in. We'll put a link on all the Spotify and Facebook posts for that as well. the back of it now is like all the hashtags I used. The new shirt design, we're just going to do hashtag DDPY Savage and like
There you
that
go.
bloody neon green type, paint stripe across the shoulders.
Love it.
Because I've never had a nickname, so the whole Savage thing's kind of fitting.
That's awesome.
It's a good team. Team Savage.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll have to fight for it.
Hey, it's okay. Well, I've already established that IP, man. I've registered it. All right.
Gotcha.
But I mean, for real though, if that name fits anybody, it's definitely you, man, across the board. This has been just incredible. It's exactly what we probably have been missing as far as transformation stories and just the realness to it all. We're gonna transition now into Tom's nutrition segment. You're big into food.
Tom's
you want to stick around? You want to hang? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll see what you. All right.
You're not going to like what I have to say, probably, but here it is.
Hey, and we
want to hear what everybody has to say. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
That's the whole point.
Yeah, let's hit it, Tom. Let's go, man. We don't even know what it's about this week.
And we don't have a different video title screen for you. So I'll roll them the old one.
Well, hang on. Can we let's throw another name out there for that's been coming across. Tom, do you know what Jason Sparks' name is that he is just banging out to the cheap seats?
Yeah, so I think was it Tater Time with Dr.
Tom's Tater Table.
Tom's Tater Table.
Tom's Tater Table.
It's what he's trying to push. I told him no carb talk, man. And he said taters aren't necessarily potatoes.
I love it. That's true.
Let's take it away, man.
So we got a really, really good feedback from last week, and it opened up a lot of conversation. And again, the whole point of this is to bring people together as opposed to argue one side. So again, we're going to approach the same way we did last time, science and logic. So today's topic is going to be a little shorter than last time. We're going to talk about meal frequency. So we were all raised probably as children with a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. That's just how we ate, right? It's just how the daily life was. When I first started getting into fitness about 15, 20 years ago, every single magazine, every single book, everything said that you needed to eat 6 or 7 small meals per day to stoke the metabolic fire. Have you guys heard that rumor before, that myth? Is that something you guys have heard before?
Absolutely. Small frequent meals.
So for a long period of time, that was kind of the way that everyone said, if you wanted to lose weight, and we're going to talk this mostly about body composition standpoint. If you want to lose weight, the best way to do it is small meals throughout the course of the day, spread them out. Your metabolism grows higher by doing that. We're seeing a complete opposite theory now, right? What are most people doing? Intermittent fasting, total opposite of what they say. OMAD is one of them, right? So OMAD means 1 meal a day, in case people don't know, right? So there's all sorts of different fasting techniques people are using, and it's the same sort of theory. People are saying, hey, this is the best way to lose fat. So today's conversation is going to be looking at the data, looking at the literature. Is there a meal frequency that's best for losing fat or for body composition standpoint? So again, it's argued all the time. And I just want to kind of break this down. There's a ton of scientific research on this. There's a lot of individual studies that'll show both sides. That'll show that if you eat more often, maybe it has an advantage. If you eat less often and fast, maybe there's an advantage. And I'm actually going to do an entire episode on intermittent fasting sometime later down the road. But if you go down to the literature and you find some of the better studies, there's good studies and there's bad studies. And we talked about confirmation bias last week, right? If you're looking for the answer, you'll find it somewhere in science, in the literature, but it might not be a good study. So I went through, found some of the better studies. It's pretty conclusive that the metabolic fire that is being stoked by eating 5 or 6, 7 small meals a day, unfortunately, that really doesn't exist. So there's been a lot of systemic reviews and meta-analysis that show that if we were to compare someone that was eating 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day against someone eating 6, 7, 8 meals a day, there's actually even one study that shows 3 meals a day against 14 meals a day. So they were given this really tiny amount of caloric value every hour on the hour while they were awake. If all calories are accounted for, there's really no major advantage of eating several small meals a day as opposed to fasting. Now, on the opposite spectrum, is fasting the best way to lose fat? Again, the literature shows the same sort of theory, is that if you're eating 1 or 2 calories, 1 or 2 meals a day in a small eating window, There's no advantage to fat loss. There's no advantage to body composition. So this all goes back to what we talked about yesterday or last week. It's all about personal preference. It's what's going to be best in your lifestyle. So let's say, someone's like a shift worker. Say maybe they're a nurse and they work 14-hour shifts. Would it make sense for them to have to eat 7 small meals over that shift? Do you think they'd be able to be compliant to that? Probably not. Now, on the opposite hand, let's say someone works at home. And would it make sense if they can only eat 1 time a day? If they had the opportunity to eat, several times a day, and that's more beneficial to them. So the whole idea is when you stay within your caloric window, most of the time there's no major advantage to either way. So find what best works for you. Same sort of thing, guys. The compliance is the science. So the other thing that I did want to mention, though, there are 2 little aspects that maybe there's an advantage to. If someone is showing signs of insulin resistance, there is a lot of data that shows that intermittent fasting may be an advantage. And I actually wanted to talk to Boz on this little part of the section here, because you brought up a really, really good point last week about intermittent fasting. You mentioned that why intermittent fasting works best for you is you have a better relationship of actually what hunger is, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was, again, there's many advantages in intermittent fasting. Look at it as a tool. Justin mentioned about all his tools that he had, right? These are all tools. Intermittent fasting is a tool. All these different styles are tool. How can we implement these tools in your daily life to make sure you're the most successful? So of the 4 of us here, I don't know, Justin, do you do any intermittent fasting or do you just do a ketogenic diet?
I eat when I'm hungry, and I don't even do keto anymore. We cut out all the extra fat from keto a long time ago, so it's just pretty much lean meat and vegetables. And 90% of the time, I'm carnivore. I just eat straight meat, egg, and then high activity days, I might eat 3 or 4 meals. Low activity days, I might eat 1. I literally listen to my body, and if I get hungry, I drink a big bottle of water. Wait 20 minutes. If I'm so hungry, I eat. If I'm not, I don't. And I might eat dinner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and be done for the rest of the night. It just depends on what I feel like I need.
So the best part of this, who could ever argue that that's not working well for you, right? Who could ever tell you that, no, what you're doing is wrong, right? Fuck them, right?
Well, I mean,
that's why I wanted to bring up Boz, because Boz does intermittent fast. And, I know that you've had a lot of success with intermittent fasting, particularly with your insulin resistance. I'm going to do a full episode on why certain subsets might do better with intermittent fasting. Some people might not. The other thing that was shown in the studies too is for athletic performance and like top level elite athletes, there has been some data that shows that maybe intermittent fasting from an athletics performance standpoint might not be the greatest opportunity. It may show that it's better if you do titrate your nutrition throughout the course of the day. Same also with muscle building. There's a lot of studies that show that, constant protein throughout the course of the day may have a small effect, but there's plenty of people that do intermittent fasting that gain muscle or maintain muscle mass. There's plenty of people that do intermittent fasting that have a very, very, high athletic ability. So the whole idea, guys, is just find what works best for you. The compliance is the science. If you guys want to have anything to add to this, I'd really like to hear your opinions, kind of hear your thoughts on meal frequency.
Well, I would say I reached a bit of a plateau. So I was doing keto and intermittent fasting simply because I find the 2 protocols go really well hand in hand, because if you are eating high fat amounts, then that has effect on satiety. So you basically, when you've finished your eating window, you go into the next day. The hunger responses you get are the normal ones you would have got anyway because of, I think it's your circadian rhythm or whatever. Your brain just goes, it's lunchtime, you should be eating, but you're not actually hungry. And it's learning to ignore that reflex. And as Justin said, just water at that point. Very often, they say thirst misrepresents as hunger. I think that's a thing. I don't know. But I do that anyway.
What I've heard.
But when I was on the carb train, the roller coaster, the hyperglycemic roller coaster, as I called it, because it was always happening to me, is that hunger would come. And then straight after that was a complete draining of energy. Like something just turned me off. It was a shutdown. And if I didn't eat some kind of carbohydrates, some kind of sugars, stoke the fire again, I just couldn't function. And I do a physical job. So I'd have to take myself out of the job, go to the van, sit down 20 minutes and stuff my face before I could come back and be efficient. And I don't miss that. Now, I've been more low carb than keto recently, and I think that still works, but I'm still trying to find, I'm still not where I want to be. So I'm still trying to find what works for me. So yes, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm in a much better place than I was, but by no means am I saying I have found the perfect sustainable model that works for my lifestyle, my addictions, because I am a food addict, many different food types. And even when I was keto, there was stuff I hadn't completely kicked that really I should have done. So I'm like, well, if I can't kick it and I've tried this long and I found this level of discipline, if I can't cross that threshold, then it's not sustainable, is it? I've not found the thing that's actually working just yet. So I still think it's somewhere in the intermittent fasting region, because I believe it's very much to do with your insulin levels. And I want those to drop right off before I eat again. And then if I do fuck up when I eat, it's not going to be disastrous. It's reset again, like I said last week. So I'm looking at different periods, different research, and there's stuff coming out all the time. So that's where I'm at with it.
Awesome. Well, cool, guys. If you guys have any other comments or questions, again, right into the show, let me know. The next few weeks, what I'm going to do is break down. We always talk about what macronutrients are: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. The next 3 episodes, we're going to break down exactly what those macronutrients are, so you'd have better understanding, and then all the myths that are related to those certain carbohydrates, because there's a lot of myths.
Excellent idea.
Yeah, so I thought, because the diet last week was such a broad topic, and this is the next one that hits. People ask this one all the time. My clients all the time say, well, how many meals am I supposed to eat? And it's like, well, what fits in your schedule the best? I think that's the best way to start, right? And if you're used to eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's great. If I've seen a lot of people have success with intermittent fasting because it's harder for them to overconsume calories during that small window.
If you give yourself an eating window, that's why I do
also
it.
Some people yeah. So there's advantages to all these tools, right? But we have to be realistic and say, you can't just say that intermittent fasting is the only way to lose fat. It's not. Eating several small meals throughout the course of the day, can you be successful? 100%. All these are great successful tools. Again, it's just finding which one is going to be the most successful for you. As parents, like, I'm not a parent. I don't have any children or anything like that. I couldn't imagine what that's like, having all the snacks around the house, having food around you all the time. Kids are eating constantly, right? So there's all things. You just have to kind of work your lifestyle into it. So
with parents, like the kids want peanut butter sandwiches all the time, like peanut butter and jelly. Dude, it's so hard to not just eat all the peanut butter every time they want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, dude.
Sure.
And I have peanut butter in my diet, but man,
the first advice usually is like, purge all the bad food out of your house, and if it's there, that's got to be really hard.
Well, but I mean, our peanut butter is literally peanuts and salt. That's it, and it's mixed. It's not Jif or anything like that. So at least I'll give it that. But shit, man, you just even if you're watching calories, a spoonful of peanut butter is 230 calories. I mean, it's just that adds up real quick. So
I'll be honest with you, mine's broken. I don't think about it at all, honestly. I'm not trying to brag, but it's just that food center is broken. I mean, it's just gone. 19 months of pounding that in my head that food is fuel. I mean, that's all it is at this point. So we got all that crap in the house. I don't buy a bunch of it. I mean, they get, like, when I go to the store, like once a month, I'll buy, you better have your junk food on the list, because that's it. The rest of the time, either your mom's got to pick it up and she's not doing it, or they got to get it on their own. So it's there, but it's not a problem for me. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to brag. It's just, that's broken. And that was one thing the therapist is like, we need to talk about your relationship with food. I'm like, no, that bitch is dead. She stays dead. We're not fixing that. We're not touching that. So
I used to love her, but I had to kill her, right?
Hey, food didn't ever do me any favors. She tried to kill me, so that's it. So so it's not a problem at our house.
Someone had to go, right? Someone had to go.
Yep. No, that's awesome, and I love that you're going to break into like you asked, that the people talking about the frequency of meals, because outside of what heart monitor should I use with the app, the second most asked question just might be, what do you guys know about intermittent fasting? Who can tell me how to intermittent fast?
Mine is, what food plan are you following?
You don't fucking eat for a while. Done.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say every time. I'm like, intermittent fasting is eating in a food window.
There's a bit more to it than that. There's a book I tend to recommend people, but
Oh yeah, absolutely there is. But if you're breaking it down, you want the Google search from Wikipedia sentence. That's what it is. So yeah,
was it from
people have a tendency to
salad?
Exactly. I mean, but who honestly needs an entire book about intermittent fasting? Come on, man. Really? Do we?
There's probably several of them out there.
Oh, there is.
Oh yeah.
If you
there
saw the amount of
definitely is.
journal articles, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's probably 15,000 pieces of scientific research on intermittent fasting right now, and it's mostly for the aging aspect, for the health benefits. There's so many different things. So I'll do a whole episode on that because it'll be kind of fun to it's not the magic bullet. If it was, everybody would do it. I mean, it's a tool just like anything else. But the word autophagy that everybody uses, nobody even knows what fucking autophagy means. And they use it like anytime someone says intermittent fasting, say, well, what about the autophagy? I'm like, tell me what the fuck autophagy means first before you use that word. They have no idea. They're like, oh, it's cellular regenerate. No, come on. So it's so misunderstood. And but there are great benefits to both, aspects. I tried OMAD once and I couldn't digest all that food. I couldn't do 2,500 calories in one.
I tried.
I mean, it was just,
I couldn't hit 2,200 and not feel like dog shit.
Yeah, it's a lot of food.
Yep.
So if someone's an overeater,
that's when I'm hungry.
It might be the tool.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That was awesome.
That works well.
Until it triggers them to do it in the morning or in the afternoon.
Right.
So the overeater's probably not, but.
Well, that's awesome. Well, since we still don't technically have a name for that segment, what we're going to do after we go live with this episode, maybe that following Friday, we'll put up eight suggestions we've had for your show. We'll make a poll on our Facebook group. We'll share it throughout our individual groups as well. And whatever one goes through, that becomes the name from here on out. And we'll work on getting an intro and everything set up for the following episode. So we'll actually have an official name for that as well. Other than that, I think we could probably wrap it up.
The outro of saying first rate advice from a second place finisher is the greatest outro of all time. That made me laugh so hard.
I sent that
was
to
so
Will,
ridiculous.
and I said, Will, I don't know what you're coming up with, but I need this to be in there eventually. And he goes, will he be offended? I said, does it matter? he goes,
Just
no, I don't think it does it? So if you're good with it and we can get you to record it, then we'll make it even better. And I love that he's like, if you're not first, you're last. That's so good.
That's great.
The entire thing was excellent. So, and just like always, guys, if you ever want to reach out to us, Boz is dying for you to send in some video stuff, man. We live and die for that. We love that content. Yes, dying. Oh, where did Travis go? See, if you want to be the fourth host on Better Hit the Mat, please just message us.
But, we get a good enough offer. We'll fire Travis. That's fine.
That's right. But just like before, I wrote it down this time. So if you want to shoot us an email, make sure you hit us up at hitthematpodcast@gmail.com. We all four of us get those emails. If we reply to you there, we generally try to put who's actually replying back to you because it is a group inbox. Make sure that you
really offensive from Tom, then it was probably one of us three. Just so you know.
Yes, absolutely. If it had a lot of F words in it and it says Dr. Tom, odds are it probably was Travis. And be sure, just like before, guys, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube, because then it lets you know when we go live, which hopefully, or when anything new comes live, hopefully that'll be really important here as we start launching some more of our midweek content with the active recovery, quick hitter sessions and everything. And if you're listening to us on any kind of your podcast apps, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, Castbox, smart speakers across the board, everything but Pandora, please be sure that please be sure you're rating and reviewing our show, because that helps us get up in the Google ranks. We're currently set as a nutrition podcast, but who knows? Maybe we have to find a better topic for us to get into better ranks.
No, I mean, it's clearly has come out as the only legitimate thing about us.
That's probably 100% true. Other than that, you can follow us all on our various social medias, Facebook and Instagram. The podcast itself, it can be found at Hit the Mat Podcast. Boz, you want to plug your social?
So Facebook is the best place to see what we're doing, really. We're on Instagram as well, but look for Back on Track Living. And say if you see a Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Bride logo, that's us.
Tom?
I am currently at Be Unstoppable Athletics on Facebook, www.beunstoppableathletics.com. However, big news for you guys. You guys all have been dying to hear it. Project Mayhem dropped this week. So Project Mayhem is my new teaching platform. Sarah Fortune, level 2 instructor, and me have joined forces. So we're doing now exclusive online classes at Project Mayhem. So find that on Facebook.
Nice.
Travis?
It'll be fun. Travis, what do you got, buddy?
Shamrock Fitness on Facebook, The Real Shamrock Fitness on Instagram, and you can also catch me on transitioncoach.ca on Dr. Marcel Dore's platform every Tuesday and Thursday.
You can find me on all the social channels at Burn the Boats Fitness. Check out my OnlyFans under Be Unstoppable Athletics. Other than that, Justin, you want to go ahead?
All the juicy stuff is right there.
Justin, go ahead and let them know where to follow you.
It's Justin Dobbins on Facebook. A Zumba Princess and I started a Facebook page this past couple of weeks called You Are Worth It Health and Wellness. We're starting out, because at first I was Hard Truths. I plan on launching that one of these days, but the problem with Hard Truths is I don't want anybody to think they're not good enough. I don't want them to think that they can't live up to the expectations of what Hard Truths Fitness will be, because it's a no bullshit. I'm not going to candy you around, but You Are Worth It Health and Wellness. I don't want anybody to be left out. So, and then it's at Dobbins JW on Instagram.
Excellent. And once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reaching out to us. This is Tom just told us the other day, this is one of the best things that he has to look forward to every single time we plug in and start recording, and that's probably true for all of us. This has been just amazing.
It's been keeping me sane of late.
Oh, for sure.
We enjoy watching at the house, and I've been showing all the neighbors around. It's been a great time.
I was going to say that on the socials. Yeah, thank you. Tell all your friends.
Yes.
You're going to have a few people watching this one, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's there's no doubt about it. And if you're in the community and you want to learn more about somebody, or you think we haven't, we have a list. Hell, we're booked. What we booked through now, January, damn near.
January.
That's awesome.
But we're looking for more people, and we try to stay in tune with the community as much as possible. But there's a lot of people that aren't as vocal as Justin, or aren't as self-promoting as any of us here. So it's really we try to stay on top of it.
Right, that just remains for us to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for sharing, and all that stuff we just asked you to do. And a massive thank you again to Justin for joining us. It's been an awesome show. So,
thanks for having me.
Until next time, raise your glasses, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hit the mat.
Cheers.
Better hit the mat.
See you guys soon. Thank you.
Better Hit The Mat podcast.
Every single time.
Sorry, watching football.
Who's playing?
All right. Well, why is it
plug
City?
my new,
How about that, Boz? Why is it City?
What?
City.
Huh?
A couch. City.
Oh,
City.
city is where people live in large concentrations, and
That's
usually
city.
have an underground public transport system of some kind.
Yes, that's a city. I wouldn't say city.
A settee.
Ooh,
Yeah. Okay.
I love girls with a nice set of cities.
No, my buddy who lives in Northampton, we were in rescue school together. We were going through search house, right? So we're blacked out. He said he had a city. He was feeling So he was the lead guy who was telling me what he felt. He said, I have a city right here. I said, a city? What is a city?
It's a sofa.
That's a sofa. Never heard of that.
No.
Okay, so we got
Would a toilet
really?
be a,
Yes.
would a
You got
toilet be a
sofa, sofa, couch, and Davenport.
5-year-old
All the
Tom.
dad
They're all
jokes today.
interchangeable.
5-year-old Tom.
I never met a 13-year-old in online gaming that I didn't just want to drive to the house and punch in the face, Silent Bob and Jay style. So,
Right, and that's why we loved him. It's because he wasn't that kid. Like,
first time I ever played Call of Duty online, all this like fucking airstrikes and shit I'd never seen in the game, which was only for the multiplayer. I was like, where are people getting this stuff? So these airstrikes are coming in. So I stood there and I'm looking for where the airstrike's coming for. And this like little 12-year-old from Liverpool is like, what are you fucking staring in the sky for? Fucking kill him! Like,
How you doing, Tom?
what the fuck do you think you are? I'm a grown-ass man. You get to talk to me like that.
Just trying to get your attention.
Are you? Do you
Yeah, but you bought the headset now. One of us.
I was just trying to get Travis's attention. Both of us, I can tell, we're staring off in this space.
Well, no. I mean, we can talk about games you guys play. You guys ever play Candy Crush?
I play the heck out of Miss Pac-Man and Donkey Kong.
No, Tom only plays Operation.
Operation, yeah.
Also, Justin, your I was gonna say your camera position looks like you have horns. It's badass, but I'm just warning you in case that's the look you're going for.
That is awesome. Fuck it. No, stay there. That's awesome.
You had it, man. Don't fuck up a good thing.
So just that increasing moving more and feeling better and
Yeah.
can you guys hear that motorcycle running up and down the
I
road?
was like, do you live on the racetrack?
Okay, hold on one second. No,
No, it's fine.
Justin's about to go kick some ass. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just put a stick through the spokes.
I thought he was going to run down the street, grab that guy by the back of his neck, pull him off.
no.
Yeah. Just
I've got
clothesline
it.
him as he goes past.
I've got a piece of steel plate I keep next to the bench for little fuckers that come speeding down the road. You flip it out in the driveway. When it hits, they think something fell off their car and they hit their brakes. And
Okay, and Tom.
Tom
He has no idea.
Be unstoppable. Be unstoppable athletics is Tom right here.
Wait,
Tom.
did you call up to me?
Fuck.
Yes.
I missed that. Oh, okay.
Let's
yeah,
redo that.
Unstoppable Athletics.
All right. No.
However-
Fuck that. Nope. We're wiping it. Wiping it. Wiping it. What? All right. So we're gonna drop you backstage. I'll read this intro, and Tom, when we laugh, you laugh.
100%.
And we're out.
Fuck you guys.
And he can hear.
and that wasn't delayed.
And now it's perfect. Fucking now
No,
it's perfect.
bullshit. It was delayed. He wanted it in the fucking close.
Yes.
Fucking day, dude. That day that scale read 199.2. I said yes, and I jumped. My scale was glass, and I broke it. I literally broke the scale by fucking being underweight. But that's cool. Whatever.
Fuck you, I
And-
don't do anymore.
Yeah, no,
Hey, look, I
but they
switched
were.
it up this week.
Outtake / blackmail.
Yes.
Oh
What
my
did
God.
you get your
Switch it up right
bikini
now.
out there? Did you get your bikini out there, Ryan? Jesus,
This is Tom,
you're
this
going
is
straight
the closest
basic, bitch, aren't you?
I've- Margarita, basically. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh.
The
I gotta
Corona
get
one.
Lucy.
You know, I put my heart rate monitor on for an hour one day working. And in that hour, I burned 980 calories.
Wow. Son.
And that's an 8-hour work day. So,
That's every hour on the hour.
Has Ryan ever heard of mute?
so yeah, so
I'm
that's,
actually I'm impersonating Travis.
He kissed my ass.
And we're out.
Fuck you guys.